Hey guys, welcome back to Small Trees. It's been a little while since I made my last video, but I've had a lot going on. Today I finally had some time to look at my garden and I checked in on a few of my projects. If you've already watched most of my videos, you probably remember the neat tool that I found that's supposed to make air layers a little easier. If not, you can click the little annotation in the top right of the screen to check it out now. Anyway, this is the tree that I tried it out on. I've noticed a good bit of root growth around the layer, so today I thought I'd open up the plastic wrap and take a look. The smaller video in the top right shows where the bark was removed back in February. I tried to remove roughly 1.5 times the width of the trunk. I'm going to begin by gently cutting away the plastic wrap with scissors and then cutting the wire that I twisted at the top and bottom to secure the plastic in place. In my climate, I may be able to get away with separating this tree now, but if I weren't already stir crazy, I probably would be better off waiting a few months to both let leaves harden off as well as to allow the layer to grow more roots. There's not much of importance to say until I'm able to see the root ball and callus, so I'll just let you watch for a moment. So, a few things to notice here. First, roots have only grown on the left side. Second, the callus formation on the right side was able to grow enough to bridge the gap that I cut, and if this were left alone, it would just heal, and it's unlikely that any roots would form. You could remedy this by again cutting the same area you cut when you started the layer. You may even want to make the gap a little larger to prevent this from happening a second time. However, I'm impatient, and so I'm going to go ahead and separate the layer and see how it fares. I don't want to harm the roots that have already formed, so I'm opting to use shears to separate the layer instead of a saw. The idea is that back and forth motion from a saw is more likely to break new roots that are still very tender. These shears aren't quite strong enough, so I'm going to use the largest tool that I have. Now that the layer is separated, I'm going to quickly reduce the top so that the foliar mass is in balance with the root mass. Now we get our first good look at what we have to work with. As I noticed initially, all roots are on one side of the trunk. This This is obviously not ideal because most styles in bonsai require radial nabari in order to be believable. It is possible that the act of separating the air layer from the mother tree will stimulate this callus to form roots, since it already appears to be on the cusp of doing so. We may be able to disguise the poor root formation by planting this tree at an angle. We are fortunate that the roots emerged on the side of the tree that they did, because I believe they can be used to visually anchor the tree since the tree moves away from the roots. My thought process behind this is simple. If the tree is in nature and it were on the side of a cliff leaning over the edge, it would have roots facing away from the cliff that would hold it in place and keep it from falling right over the edge. If the roots grew towards the cliff in the same direction that the tree itself leaned, there'd be nothing keeping the tree from falling. When we work with bonsai, we try to apply natural rules to our trees, even if they're not, in the same situation. This tree will never be hanging off a cliff, but the viewer will still need something to offset the lean of the tree, or else the composition won't look believable. You can apply this basic concept to most of your trees to improve the image. Picture what would naturally happen with a tree and try to mimic it. For example, if the trunk of your tree has many twists and turns, it would not make sense for the branches to be very straight. If the trunk has gentle movement, the branches should also have gentle movement. I'm sure that a lot of you see some of the work that I do to my trees and wonder how I don't kill them. I'm intentionally pushing the boundaries to show you what you can and can't get away with when working with trident maples. Results will vary with climate, but I try to make my videos reproducible for you at home, and to date, no tree that's been shown on this channel has done anything but thrive. If something does happen to one of the trees on this channel, I'll be sure to let you know. Then we'll both know a boundary that probably shouldn't be crossed. We may have to make changes to our desired design based on how the tree reacts. So back to this tree. I originally planned to plant this tree upright, but due to the irregular roots, I'll have to plant it at around a 35 to 40 degree angle. This will change my design somewhat, but it will still fit within the general plan. I'm a fan of a short, chunky tree with low movement, so I'm going to remove all but about an inch of this trunk and then let it grow. Here's the cut I made and what I'm left with. I'm going to put it in the ground now and let it grow freely to gain some vigor. I don't expect it to grow a whole lot this year, but trident maples always surprise me with how much size they put on in a year, so you never know. That's all the work for this tree today. I'll show you a few garden pictures and previews of upcoming videos here. I have another update video filmed that I just need to edit, and another where I do a little work on one of my favorite pomegranates. This weekend I'm going to visit a large bonsai nursery and hopefully I'll bring home some great material to show you. A lot of my seedlings planted through metal or through washers are almost ready for their first round of work, so that should be coming up soon as well. I think I'll show you the seedlings soon. This is one that is already rooted and is ready to have the bottom removed. I'll show you the process and give you my impressions on what works best for this method in the next video. Until next time.